Well, folks, welcome to another Shop Talk, and today we are out in northern Clay County, I think, at Johnson's Ridge Housing Division, and we are here with two of the gentlemen that pretty much run and take care of C.A.R.B. And we're going to sit down with them a little bit today, and we're going to talk to them about what C.A.R.B. is, what it does, what it could be, what it should be. And first of all, we've got J.D. Green, who is the president, former racer, race director at Lakeside Speedway and I-35. Also, former racer, but he still drives a two-seater, Mike Johnson. And Mike is the vice president of C.A.R.B. and also is owner of I-35 Speedway. Almost forgot that. But anyway, we're going to talk to him a little bit about C.A.R.B. And guys, first question I want to pose to you is, what exactly is C.A.R.B.? Is it a social organization for racers? Is it a organization that keeps people in and around racing up to speed about what the Kansas City racing scene is? Or is it a retirement club for old racers? Now, who wants to take that?
I'll take that one, Mike. It's all the above. It was developed in 1952 by two ladies that loved racing, Virginia Nelson and Clara Goshorn. They started the club, and they had meetings. It was at their houses. They actually had the first banquets at their house. And of course, you're doing this because this weekend's our 58th banquet. But it's all that to everybody. It's for race fans. It's for racers. Anybody involved in the sport of auto racing. In fact, a lot of people don't realize this. We have a constitution that we go by. And it's listed on our website, www.KCCAR.com. Everybody needs to read the Constitution. That's the guiding rules for this club. It was started as an educational organization and incorporated in the state of Missouri in 1972. So it's for everybody, from the race fans. You know, we have to thank the owners like Mike Johnson and Earl Walls and Mark Olson, that they give us these nights that we have C.A.R.B. nights. Race fans get in free.
Don't forget Dennis Shroud.
And Dennis Shroud Valley, the racers get in free. Or not the racers, the race fans. The racers get extra money. And then the other part to that is we're benevolent. We have a benevolent fund. If we have an injured driver, they get taken care of. It's not an all-everything insurance policy, but it helps them get through those first 3 weeks. I mean, this past year, we gave Dennis Melvin, who was injured, had a broken leg, couldn't work. And he was able to collect off those funds so that he could buy groceries and do whatever was needed. That's what the racers get. And then the race owners, at the end of the season, they get a place to come have their banquet. And I'll have Mike answer some of this.
About the banquet. Let's move on here just a little bit. Is C.A.R.B. meeting all of the goals that it was originally organized for?
We're meeting all those goals and much more. We've got a lot of ideas to keep moving C.A.R.B. forward. The El Camino raffle that we're doing this year, they'll be giving away Saturday night at the C.A.R.B. banquet, is about building a Hall of Fame museum up north for the racers, to preserve the history of racing in Kansas City. That's what that El Camino is about. And we've got more ideas that we're working on for next year to raise more money for the museum. So to answer your question, yes, we're moving forward with many new ideas, with new people coming on board. I'm coming in my 4th year with C.A.R.B., and that's what we're about, is moving this club forward. We want to preserve the history of what's going on, because if we don't, it's going to be forgotten. We want to have this museum where we can have our Hall of Fame dinners, our C.A.R.B. banquets, our general membership meetings, right there to where we're not renting a KCI Expo and things like that, to where we're keeping the money and just keep expanding it, to where young kids can come in, push a button, and they see a video of the old racetracks and racers. And we've got to preserve the history of this. That's why it's important for everybody to get involved, doing videos like this and getting the word out about C.A.R.B. It's important that we all work together, not just the members of C.A.R.B., the officers, the board members. We need the media. We need general membership getting involved in doing this. There's right now there's very few people in any organization. There's just a small nucleus that does all the work. We're trying to reach out to get everybody involved in this club because we see down the road the potential of what this can be. We've got 700 and some odd members now, and we want more. This is, I think you've been doing videos with some of the Hall of Famers and stuff. You're doing those videos so someday they'll be in this museum. We want to have race cars in this museum and get the young people excited about joining this sport. That's what the Hall of Fame is about.
JD, originally was this one of the purposes of the club, was the being able to have the history of racing in Kansas City? Was that one of the original things that they set out to do?
I would say yes, from this standpoint. In 2002, my wife, Diana Green, and Joan Ellis went and collected all the history books. A history book has been kept of this club for every year. It survived a flood at Virginia Nelson's house many years ago that Jim Penny recorded, or he ended up with a lot of the history. But the history books, we've always had a historian, and we go to the Hall of Fame. One of the things we discovered was Lee Fagala, president in 1969, wanted to have a Hall of Fame. It took until 2004 for us to get a Hall of Fame. Right after we had the 50-year book, that was the first year I became president, I formed a committee to look into having a Hall of Fame. And I'm going to tell you, it is very interesting with racers just to get a Hall of Fame started. Everybody has their own opinion. That's the neat part to our sport. People, they look at it, our sport, as, wow, there's a lot of arguing. No, there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of differences. But that's what makes us all this great in this sport. And let's take you, for example. Okay? You, last year, were what? The Tom Wilson Media Person of the Year Award, because you do these videos. You found your place in this sport. The neat thing about this sport is there's a place for everybody. Whether you're the race fan that comes weekly, what's neat is at I-35 is I'm usually there in that office whenever they first open up the ticket window, and the same people come and sit in the same spot. That's their place in racing. Somehow my place ended up being who I am with what I do. And then you've got Mike. And then you've got you. We all have a place in racing. It's the neatest sport. And what we have to do is we have to remember to keep promoting the sport. That's what KCCAR is about, and that's what all of us involved. That's why we love this sport.
Yeah. Why should a person in racing want to be a member of KCCAR.B? Everybody today always says, what can it do for me? Or let's say in this case, what would it do for racing? But why does a person want to be a member of KCCAR.B?
Our job as officers is to promote this club and get the word out about KCCAR.B. There's many things that we do, like JD said, the benevolent fund for racers, the banquet for all of our racers and the owners. I mean, it's great as an owner to have a facility to go to like KCCAR Expo, to where all our champions are honored, and it's a really good thing. As a racer, I didn't know that much about KCCAR.B, but I became aware of it when I became a track owner, and it's a great thing. We want people getting involved. There's so many different areas and so many different things that we've got coming up right now. In January, we've got the Bowl-a-thon coming up. We've got the Hall of Fame March 5th. We've got Snake Saturday coming up.
Always kicks off the racing season. I mean, talk to anybody in Kansas City about racing, and one of the first things when spring or early spring comes around is, are you going to be at the
And we encourage everybody to get involved with KCCAR.B and come out to these functions and help us promote it. The Bowl-a-thon will be January 29th. The Hall of Fame dinner in Gladstone will be March 5th. And Snake Saturday will be March 12th. We've got general membership meetings also coming up December 11th, January 8th, and February 5th. They all start at 7 o'clock. It's over at the KCCAR Expo Holiday Inn is connected to it, and it's in the Holiday Inn, one of their banquet rooms. So we want everybody getting involved and helping us move this club forward and help fulfill our dream of building a museum. C.A.R.B is a great thing for the racers to get involved. They show up, they buy a $10 membership, they get $15 back that night. They're getting $5 just for becoming a member. So there's lots.
You really can't beat it, because you know you're going to get 4 nights free at a racetrack. For one thing, just with that $10 membership, let alone
tracks
all
are $12, on just getting in the main gate, and so it's a great buy for anybody.
Also, along those same lines, now just talked to you recently, and one of the things I think you were telling me is that also now at the club meetings, there are going to be, I don't want to say prizes, but I mean there are prizes that are going to be given to racers, fans, or club members?
We've already started. Last membership meeting, we're having a prize for the drivers and for general membership. Last meeting we gave away a race receiver to the drivers, which that's a $120 value right there. So we're trying to do things to get excitement to where we get racers and more people come to the general membership meetings, and it's working. We had more drivers at the last meeting, and that's what it's all about.
Mike, you say you've been in racing for 15 years and involved in C.A.R.B for 4 years. What would you say was the thing that kind of propelled you into this? Because the way I see it, in the last couple of years, you have really thrown yourself into it. And not that other people aren't involved and don't commit a lot of time. I don't want to take anything away from those folks. But it just seems like you have really jumped in there with both feet. What is it that give you that want to?
The very first night, we met JD and Diana and the people who were on the board at that time. And we were bringing our track forward to be considered as being part of the club. There's a process you go through to become a C.A.R.B-supported track. And JD and the whole group made us feel welcome, and we wanted to become part of that group because of the way they conducted themselves, the goals they had in mind. That's what attracted us to C.A.R.B. The things they offered, like I said, the banquet for the owners. They made us feel welcome. We liked everybody that was a part of it, and when people do that and they make you feel welcome, you want to become a part of that,
right,
and help further the group
along. Not only
along.
that, but I think after a while you begin to realize what the club does and how it's involved in all that goes on pretty much in racing around the Kansas City area.
It offers you the opportunity to make friends that you would have never have made had you not been a part of it.
Right.
The great thing about racing is it expands your friendship with people. On the track, sure, do we bump and grind and get mad every once in a while? Yeah, but there are so many good people involved in racing, and that's one of the benefits that C.A.R.B allows you, is by meeting great people.
Talking along these lines, C.A.R.B at this time of the year in particular, I think attracts a lot of attention. And it brings together people from the north, the south, the east, and the west, all around Kansas City. And of course, we're talking about the C.A.R.B banquet. And it's such a great opportunity in that we celebrate what everybody has achieved for the past year. And on the local racing scene, it seems like getting a little recognition or whatever for what you do is such a hard thing to do. And boy, C.A.R.B just shines like a star, I think, when it comes to this, and that everybody's in that room. I mean, what a crowd. It's almost like a NASCAR banquet or whatever. Well, JD, how many folks will be coming to the banquet?
A little over 500. I can tell you the economy has hit us. The past couple years, we've been right around 600. People can't afford it anymore. And to be quite honest with you, yesterday I was at the KCCAR Expo. We're negotiating another contract. This is why we got to get our Hall of Fame museum, because they're adding, quite honestly, they want to charge for each table for all kinds of things. So we really need to get everybody involved. That's what C.A.R.B's about, everybody. When you asked earlier, is it a retirement club? That's the Hall of Famer.